Welcome to Doing Stuff with Darren. I'm Darren. Let's do stuff. Today, we're going to be making another batch of snack sticks. I'm warning you right now, these are addictive. They're peppery and tangy, and they have just the right amount of flavor and spiciness. You're going to have a hard time keeping these around because they're going to get eaten fast. You've been warned. Let's get to it. We'll start by slicing the meat. I have a pork butt and some beef round. I'm making these snack sticks a 50-50 mix of beef and pork. I slice all the meat into strips that will fit into my grinder. This is a total of 7.5 kilograms of meat, which is about 16.5 pounds. Once it's all sliced, I put it in the freezer to chill. While the meat is in the freezer, I measure out all the spices I'm going to use. The recipe is in the description of this video, so I'm just going to list them all out here. Salt, black pepper, mustard seed, red pepper flakes, garlic powder, onion powder, sugar, paprika, mustard powder, cure number 1. This is sodium nitrite, not to be confused with cure number 2, which also has sodium nitrate. White pepper. These are whole peppercorns. After I measure them out, I put them in a spice grinder and grind them up. Sodium erythorbate. Let's talk about this for a second. Sodium erythorbate is a cure accelerator. What that means is it converts the sodium nitrite in the cure number 1 into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, without getting into the chemistry, is what is actually protecting the meat from being able to grow Clostridium, which is the bacteria that makes you sick. Normally, when you cure meat, you have to let the sodium nitrite convert into nitric oxide on its own, which takes a little while. When you want to smoke sausage immediately after stuffing it, which we're going to do today, you have to add something that will convert the sodium nitrite quicker so the meat is safe to smoke quicker. That something that we're going to add is sodium erythorbate. The amount to add is 547 parts per million. That is basically 0.55 grams per kilogram of meat. You have to do this if you're going to add encapsulated citric acid, which is our next ingredient. And here it is, encapsulated citric acid. This is what's going to make the sausage tangy. We'll add this last after the sausage has been mixed. This is why we have to smoke the sausage directly after stuffing. If you let it sit overnight, the little capsules of citric acid will break down and release too soon, and it will screw up the consistency of the sausage. So if you use encapsulated citric acid, you've got to have sodium erythorbate in there too. Just remember, those two ingredients go together. Make sure you keep the encapsulated citric acid separate from all the other ingredients. Now that the ingredients are all measured out, I pull the meat out of the freezer and run it through the grinder. I run it through the small plate twice to make it fairly homogeneous. Once the meat is ground, I put it all into the mixer. This is about 16.5 pounds of meat, and I'm using a 20-pound mixer, so it all fits pretty well. This is the mixer I added a motor to. You can see that build in my Motorize Your Sausage Mixer video from a couple of months ago. I mix in all the dry ingredients and then I add 5% water by weight. Since this is 7.5 kilograms of meat, 5% water is 7.5 times 50, which is 375 milliliters of water. I let that mix for about 8 or 9 minutes. Once it is mixed really well, so it's real sticky, I add the encapsulated citric acid at the very end and only mix it for about 30 seconds. I'll tell you, the next time I do this, I'm probably not going to add the citric acid in the motorized mixer. I'm going to take it all out of the mixer and then mix the citric acid in by hand because I worry about it breaking down too soon. Now it's time to fill the stuffer. So I put about half of the meat in the stuffer. I'm using the 10mm tube and 17mm bearded butcher casings. This is the first time I used my electric stuffer since I rebuilt the planetary gears. It worked great. You can check out how to build it in my Motorized Your Sausage Stuffer video. It flew through all these snack sticks without a problem. When I was done, there was minimal meat left in the stuffer, and that can be adjusted by moving the limiter up on top. Now that it's all stuffed, I hung it in my smoker. When I hang these, what I do is I loop it over my bacon hangers so the sausages are hanging down where I want them, and then I take a pair of scissors and cut them at the bottom. I didn't used to do this. I just let them loop back up and over without cutting them, and the problem with that was I'd get curved sausages after they were cooked. By cutting them at the bottom, I get straight snack sticks. I was worried initially the sausage would kind of come out the end of the sticks, but it doesn't. Cutting them works just fine. Next, I light the smoke generator. It's filled with hickory pellets. Then I set the smoker to temperature difference mode. That means that it will stay a certain number of degrees hotter than the sausage to gently bring it up to temperature. I set it at a 35-degree differential. Let's take a quick peek inside the smoker to see how the smoke generator is working. Nice and smoky. Five and a half hours later.
All right, so you see that the smoker controller is blinking, and that means that the snack sticks are done. They reached 152 degrees. So let's take a look and see what this looks like in here. Perfect. Now we're gonna put these in the fridge for a day. We'll try them tomorrow.
It's now the next day. I've taken all the snack sticks out of the fridge. You can see how straight they all are because I cut the ends off when I hung them up in the smoker in the first place. I'm going to cut them all down to 8 inches in length and then package them with my vacuum sealer. I'll tell you, these are the best snack sticks I've ever made. They're peppery and tangy. They're addictive. I hope you give this recipe a try. If you do, drop me a note in the comments. If you've liked this video, hit those like and subscribe buttons. That'll really help me out. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.